Players will be down here in just a second. Steve Kirschman will bring them in, try to keep it right. Players will be coming in, but I'll get it started so get out of here and go see Santa Claus later. We feel very fortunate. I think in the first half, shooting the ball for both we did was huge for us. It was like a 20-20 game, and then we make a bunch of threes and stretch it out. 4 or 5 things really helped us. Cam Johnson coming off the bench made some baskets. Jaleel Felton came off the bench, made some baskets. Theo down the stretch making all the free throws. I thought the second half we got took the ball to the basket a little bit more. In the first half we had 4 points in the paint and 16 in the second half, and we usually score a lot more than that inside the lane. But a lot of guys came in and did some good things for us. Our bench did supply a lot of points for us tonight, but during one stretch early in the second half, Joel sort of kept us in there. The three made right in front of our bench, and the dead corner was really a difficult shot. And he made it look easy, went right through the heart. But and then when they did start fouling, as I said, Theo made every free throw, and it's still not. I've seen him shooting better than that, so he knows which game I'm talking about. We feel good about it. Chris Holtman and his club's a good club. Chris has done a remarkable job. Didn't take that job until June to get all the new players buying in. He should feel very good about himself. What he's done with the club.
Theo, what was the difference with you guys with your focus tonight as opposed to a few nights ago?
I think any team should have a great amount of focus after you take a loss. We came into the game, everybody was, I know I was eager to get back out here because of my performance in the last game. And we've been here before, I'm a senior, and I can't have games like that. I was ready to come back out and step up for my teammates.
Joel, I think 7 players made 3-pointers tonight. When those shots start going down, is that somewhat contagious for the rest of the guys?
I think so. You know, whenever the ball is going in from the 3-point line, I mean, that's always a plus and good for us. But I think in the second half, like Coach said, we did a better job of driving the ball, and I think it's because we were knocking down shots from the outside, and we were able to open up the lanes for us to get inside. Guys started moving better on the offensive end and making harder cuts, which that's something that we've been emphasizing in practice and been working on. And I think we did a good job of that in the second half and not settling for threes. But when they're going in, you know, that's always good for us.
Joel, their point guard C.J. Jackson, I just wonder if you were familiar with him at all and what it was like matching up with him. You guys had some pretty good back and forth throughout the game.
Yeah, I didn't know too much about him. I mean, we watched film on him, and I knew he was a good 3-point shooter. I was a little frustrated in the first half because I gave him a couple of open ones. But he's a pretty good player. I mean, he shoot the ball from the outside, but in the second half, I just tried to make it a little bit more difficult for him and just tried to get a hand up on his shot. And I think one time I went out there and shot an air ball. So just being a little bit more active on the ball and trying to disrupt him. But he's a pretty good player, though.
For both players, how was practice the last couple days leading up to this day?
After the game on Wednesday, we came in the next day and we just watched the whole game from Wofford. And with a young team like this, I think I can speak for Coach here. It's important that we watch film and learn from our mistakes. And when we see the mistakes on film, like Coach said, in the eye of the sky don't lie. So when we see the stuff on film, we know we need to improve on it. And we took a day off, and then tomorrow we actually had the next day we actually had a pretty good practice. Guys was active, energy level was, you wouldn't think that we lost, but at the same time we got some veteran guys who know that we can't sulk on it. We need to move on to the next game, but at the same time make sure that we keep that loss in mind.
Cameron Johnson had 14 today, just his second game back. Just how good of a job do you think he's done kind of fitting in with the group and gelling with y'all out there?
Yeah, Cam's a great player, and he's a great shooter, and when you leave him open, I mean, more than likely he's going to knock down the shot. And like I said, he comes in and he helps us because it spreads out the floor where we can get the ball inside, which is what we want to do. We don't want to settle for threes, but having a 3-point threat like Cam out there on the court is something great for us. And I mean, I know we all talk about him shooting and him being able to score the ball, but if you look at what he did on the defensive end by getting on the floor and getting us extra possessions, and him just being out there, being active. That's what that's what we want to do, and that's what makes him a good player. Not only because he can shoot the ball, but he's just out there being active on the defensive end. And that's what we want to pride ourselves on, is being a team that can stop somebody from scoring. And as you can see, he did that tonight by diving on the floor and getting those extra possessions.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Talk to coach about that we shoot the technical instead of joking.
Hey, your percentage may be higher now.
Anybody else for Coach?
Yeah, I got Coach, after just what do you think of your team being able to respond, and where your team is after playing this way after the tough setback earlier this week?
Well, it was not a good loss for us. We were very disappointed. Wofford did a nice job. They deserved to win the game because they played harder, smarter, and better than we did. But you get disappointed with your performance. And I think, as Theo said, the next day we didn't even put the shoes on. We went in and watched the tape the entire game. They listened to the coach's grade while they were sitting there. It's almost 2.5 hours. And hopefully they learned something. And we came back on Friday and had a good spirited workout. And I think today, early in the game, I thought we were really focused. And perhaps ball going in the basket, as I've always said, makes everything look better, even our defense. I'll have to watch it on the film to make sure, on the tape to make sure. But I've never believed you have to lose to learn something. I like to win close and still learn something, learn the same thing, I guess. But you have to congratulate Wofford. They made the plays and we didn't.
Coach, is there any concern with the inside-outside balance thus far?
Well, it was today, the first half, for sure. We've had really good balance. I think you can probably go back, Steve might even know this, I think you can go back and look at all our games. We've really had great balance of scored points inside the lane. And it's not just throwing it to our big guys. I mean, Garrison was 2 for 4, Sterling was 0 for 2, but we had drives to the basket. Theo drove the basket, Joel drove the basket, Luke got it inside. So it's not just those big guys, but I've always wanted balance. I'd take 13 threes every game, but also want more shots and more baskets in the lane too.
Coach, Jaleel coming off a couple of rough games, he goes out and has a turnover that leads to a basket right away, but responded with a few buckets and some assists. Was that sort of a sequence of growth for him?
Well, I hope so. He's defensively, he's just got to get better. I mean, he guards like I do, and I'm 67. When I was his age, I guarded a heck of a lot better than he does. But he's got to do that. But today, the turnover that he made, as you said, you look down, he had 3 turnovers, and all 3 of them were careless. It was careless turnovers. 100 years ago, Coach Smith said every turnover is either selfishness by trying to make a great play or carelessness. And I think that 2 of his were careless, and 1 of them he was trying to force it through there, and the guy wasn't open. But 3 turnovers, 5 assists, but 4 for 5 from 3-point line. That's pretty doggone good. And as I said in the opening comments, I think that was huge for us. But he's got to keep maturing, and he was hurting a little bit today. He dove on the floor yesterday to practice for the first time in his life. He's 18 years old. First time he's ever dove on the floor, and he was hurting. He sucked it up and played.
2 more.
Coach, things don't get any easier as you head into ACC play. From this past week and this game, what did you learn about your team, and what kind of improvements would you like to see going forward?
Well, I still think we've got to get better defending. I still think we've got to get better cutting down on the turnovers. 17 turnovers is way too many. I don't mind, 11, 12, something like that, because you want to make some turnovers when you're running up and down the court, trying to go at a fast pace. But so we've got to do both of those. We've got to get better defense. We've got to stop turning it over. And I want us to get, as we're talking about, great more balance inside and outside. But really, before today, we've had pretty good balance.
I just wonder what you made of Ohio State as you watched them on film. And I saw you talk to Chris Holden before the game for a minute or two. What was that conversation like?
Well, first of all, I really like Chris and have a lot of respect for the job he does. I've watched his club. No one realizes how difficult that is. He came in June, and I might miss this, and so if I do, just change it. I think he's got 7 new players, and so if it's 6 or 5, just change it. He's got a lot of new players, and every one of them's new to him. And they're defending, they're sharing the ball, they're trying to play hard. Their best players are getting most of the shots. And that's what coaching's all about. I watched them against Wisconsin, Michigan, and Appalachian State, and they were impressive in many different ways in all 3 of those games.
last one.
Hey, Coach, you know, you guys have done great the last couple of years, and so I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on the one and done rule. You've had guys who come back and you've had